Yeah, maybe we just bandits, maybe they demanded. Matter of fact, they commanded, never giving us chances. Now we ripping the bandage. I gotta let it bleed, let them see what it really means to be on a different state of mind. It's a mindset, I don't pay no mind.
A vision of seeing a world living in unity through love.
Oh, you know we had to do it, right? Brother empowerment.
It's been a long
Helping brothers to break through without breaking. With international viewership. That means that we are getting our message worldwide and nothing can stop us from showing our brothers and their family love. So you know we had to do it right. Come on now. Brother empowerment. We about to do it. Let's go. We love you guys. Come on,
Let's go, let's go. My brother hit my phone, said, bro, let's go, let's go. We gotta build a home, we gotta build a throne, somewhere that we can roam. Let's get these brothers up to start to build each other up. It's time for us to level up in power. Yeah, we stepping up higher from the fire that ignited from the heavens up. Now it can't expire, cause my brother's always checking up. On me, put your blessings up. Homie, never letting up. On me said, call me if you need, and couldn't believe it. I finally found brothers that's healing, now I receive it, cause they invited me to breathe in all of the meaning of the true brotherly love. Just what I needed, man, it's such a vibe to build with brothers through the struggles. Man, it's such a high to have them help you through your troubles, make you feel alive. Cause as they raising your spirits, you start embracing your fearless. You can't deny that you're clearing all the demons from your heart, wishing it from the start. To any brother that wanna step in and be a part, cause it's easier to do it together than be apart. Hope to be the beacons of light that can shine in the dark.
Come on, let's go.
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, everybody?
What's going on, good people?
It's Thursday, so you know what that means.
It's Brother Empowerment Day.
So if this is your first time watching, the bigger question is, where have you been?
Word.
Brother Empowerment is a show designed to help our brothers to break through without breaking. Now, this is not one of those bashing shows sitting there talking about what you shoulda, coulda, and would have done, but this is an opportunity to engage in a healthy dialogue and hope that something that is discussed will help our brothers and their families lead towards a positive change. Now, before we get into our special guest, bro, I got a special announcement.
Yeah.
New leadership lineup. Oh! Yeah.
Who that?
We got Tara Henry coming in as the Chief Experience Officer. Ahmed done joined the team as the Chief Innovation Officer, aka Iconic. You know, the things that we're about to do. Dana is still on as our intern. The places we about to go. I'm so excited about that. So I had to say that because, like, this is kind of about to be a dope birthday.
Yep.
Dope birthday. So, bro, how was your week?
It's cold. It's cold.
Nah, it is cold.
That's how my week has been. It's cold, man. It's cold. Outside of that, no, it's been really just chill. Been doing a lot of run around. Went to a Halloween party this past weekend in Charlotte, and then went and saw some good folks up in South Carolina and drove back. So did a lot of driving. And then last night hung out with the bro Stevie and Elijah. We went shooting, shot in pool.
I didn't get an invite, but it's okay.
So we went shot pool. So
I ain't want to go anyway.
So the week has been actually pretty good outside of being cold, man. So, and I recently got back to really writing down my thoughts and getting stuff out. So I feel even more refreshed just because, you know, I have been putting that off for a while. And I talked to my therapist about it, about just, you know, kind of the stuff I was going through with that. And so she was like, I'm going to start giving you more assignments so you'll be accountable and have responsibilities. And so I was like, well, I don't like how that sounds, but it's going to work. So, but yeah, man, the week has been pretty good, bro. And tomorrow's a special day. So we kicking your birthday off correctly.
Yeah, you know what?
So,
I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
Because I'm about to be, you know what? Because I'm about to be 42, and I look younger at 42 than I did at 32. Oh my goodness, this boy looks amazing. But you know what? I can't talk about my week just yet. We got to go to Iconic first. Tell us about your week, bro.
Cold. I don't like the cold.
Word.
I absolutely despise the cold, man. As soon as it got cold, I just didn't want to go nowhere. But started a new job this week, so that was cool. Trying to get
Congratulations.
back into the
Congratulations.
thank you. Trying to get back in the groove. I've been working from home since last March, and now I'm back on site. So trying to get back. I felt tired after 2 days just driving into the office. You know what I'm saying, and coming back. I was like, man, how did I
Yeah.
used to do this before?
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's like I'm trying to revert back to that. Started going back to the gym. That started last night with Jay. So trying to get back into that. It just been kind of really focused on. I have a single that's dropping tomorrow.
Yeah.
Called Desperados. So I've kind of been stressing and focused on that, even as we speak. But yeah, I mean, all in all, it's been a blessing. It's been a blessed week, man. And then Jay last night, told me, if I asked me if I wanted to be officially part of the family, and I said, yeah, why not? Let's do it.
I asked you during the day, and we talked about it
Oh,
last.
okay. Well, I've been awake for too long.
Yeah. Which is another thing, and it's gonna be fresh on the air. Like, so E, do you want to join the Brother Empowerment Committee?
You asking me?
Yeah, you.
No, the other E.
What does
The
it
other-
entail? Do I got to give blood? Like what? What do I do?
Yeah, you got to give a little blood.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
got to drink blood out of a chalice.
Yeah. We blood brothers for real around here.
And you gotta do a thing where you slice your hand, we press it up against each other. You gotta do that too.
I'm ready.
No question. No question.
Well, good. Well, my week was a little stress. Well, the last couple of months, last couple of weeks were stressful. And the last couple of months, they were getting to me, and we talked about that last week. For those who didn't know, me and my wife decided to go through a separation, and we're still working those things out. We don't know if it's indefinite or temporary. We don't know, but any change is not health. Like, any change is not fun. I ain't gonna say it's not healthy. It's not fun. And so sometimes going through that, you don't have any control over your emotions, because whether something is good or bad, you're used to your rhythm. And when your rhythm changes, a lot of times you change. Oh, they switched up on us. But a lot of times, you change, but things are at a place where they're just getting better. Day in and day out, things are getting better. One of the things that I have is just a renewed focus on the things that we're about to do. And we're just going to continue to move forward. I'm definitely excited. I did work out in the gym, and I'm going to continue to do that. Having somebody that's close, because Ahmed is literally a rock throw away from me. Well, Iconic is a rock throw away from me. So having someone that close can tell you, like, get your fat butt out this house and go run on this treadmill.
I didn't say that. That was not a quote. I did not say that.
He literally said that.
Cordell, how come he wasn't able to work out with you, but he could work out with Iconic? What happened? You
Okay,
baby Hulk,
I can tell you a whole bunch of things. He like to lift weights. Like, I don't even know if he does cardio. He just sit around. I ain't trying to do that. I want to do some cardio and do a good little combination. And Iconic does all of that.
I do cardio.
He does cardio all day.
Not all day.
He lift trucks and houses. If that's cardio, you know what? You do breathe a little bit. So I'm sorry. You do oxidate your lungs. But anyway, we're not going to argue about that. But E, you know what? We'll come to you, E. Let's go to our special guest. Because they done switched in everything. Lady Bounce and Mr. Picket Fence.
What up? Yeah, I was having some computer issues, so I had to dash to her camera.
Yeah.
What's up, good people?
What's happening? Tell us
brother?
who you are, who you is, who you be.
Where you from? All that good stuff.
Yeah,
You go first. Ladies first.
Ladies first. Oh, we about to start singing?
Oh, ladies first. Ladies first.
Hey. All right, so I'm Lady Bounce. I'm one half of the Fly With Us podcast. I'm the best half of this guy over here. The best thing that ever happened to him or his children. In my day job, I'm a high school intervention specialist, so I hang out with high school kids all day long to keep me young, keep me fresh. In my evening time, when I'm not being his wife, their mother, then I'm self-helping, self-caring, self-loving, and helping everybody else to do it too through our podcast.
Word up. My name is Jay Webb, aka MC Picket Fence. I'm a recording artist. Her better half. The best thing that happened to her and the
Hold up,
kids.
partner.
And I am also a certified natural health consultant, one half of the Fly With Us podcast, and we just try to promote self-care, self-love, mental health care, and a lot of other stuff. We try to chop it up about everything.
Life lessons, love lessons, and everything in between.
Word up.
Word. Awesome. Well, and I was on their podcast last week, right?
Yep, last week. Yep,
was last week, and you're going to see us doing a lot more collaborations. The Webbs were my cousins that I found via 23andMe.
Word up.
We won't say anything.
Too iconic.
Pharaoh Radwan. So we won't say anything. But E, tell the people about you. And then you just joined the committee. So after a while, you won't get no special treatment.
You know, this might be your last one.
You just get credits.
Well, I am a good friend / I should put brother / friend of Cordell and Dwayne. An advocate of love. Well, not officially yet, but I'm working on that. Loving father, loving spouse / mate. just a brother, that's all.
A dope brother with a lot of knowledge.
You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
So we're gonna go with the guests. Like who we got on? You ready?
Yes. All right. First and foremost, we got Chanel's in the building.
My soror.
Yeah. What's going on, Chanel?
Whoop, whoop. Hello. No.
We got my Booski. She-Hulk herself is in the building. Hey, babe.
What's up? What's up?
Oh, and thank you for my birthday gift. That's what I was calling you for. But go ahead.
We got Ricky, aka the Beard, in the building. What's going on, bro?
What's going on, Bourbon Beard?
We got Sean Bates from YouTube land holding it down. What's going on, Sean, man?
Hey, bro. You right.
It does not.
But some be close.
Yeah.
It be crumbling, but it don't crack.
Yeah, Sean. See, we're glad you're on the no cold zone. Yep, glad to have you over here.
I saw the people
Deshaun's
from
in the
New York
building.
that moved back.
He's about back like he never left.
What's going on, Deshaun, bro? We're glad you're on the. So we got Shantika in the building holding us down in YouTube land. Also, what's going on, Shantika? They don't do that. I be doing my hit workouts. Don't do that.
That's whatever.
We're a unit. Don't do that.
He talking about running.
She tells no lies.
Running insomnia cookies. That's his cardio.
He runs to get that pound cake.
Right.
Hey, I will do that though. Hey, Ricky, man. Like, hey, Mama Garnett.
Hey, Mom. Oh, Nick, look at her.
She there and she here. Hey, big sis, what's going on?
What's going on? Anybody else who's viewing, make sure you chime in, but we're going to go ahead and get started. This was from last week, but I just love it. So
much.
I'm not deleting it. We're going to talk about it again. Look.
How did I know this? I knew you were going to put this back up.
I'm gonna read it. The capacity for friendship is God's way of apologizing for our families. Jay McInerney.
I just think that's just an amazing quote because that's how I feel. Because you can't choose your family, but you can choose your friends. And I have some dope friends. Like, man, I have some amazing friends. My friends now is like amazing, and it's like it's funny because you're like, I forgive you, God.
Yeah,
I forgive you for giving me that bad family.
Well, it's like you can choose it's like you can choose your family, but you can't choose who you're related to by blood. Because family is more than just blood relation. So as the quote goes, the blood of the covenant is thicker than water of the womb. So you can't choose your family because it was Jay that taught me that friends are nothing more than family that you choose. So I don't even look at, friends as the same way anymore. Like it's family and associates and then everybody else, strangers.
Yeah. What y'all got? I love this. I love this quote. This probably is gonna be my quote for a minute, but I'm sorry.
Who should go first? Should I go?
You talking? Go ahead.
I like the phrase because I understand it, but for me personally, and this is on a personal level, the word apologizing there just slightly just rubs me the wrong way because it implies that a mistake was made.
Mhm.
And I don't like to put that on the Almighty, me personally. But I would say I would change that wording from apologizing to
Compensating.
I like that word better. Compensating sounds a lot better. Definitely, yeah.
Or a gift.
Yeah, that too.
Making up for. I mean, you know.
Mm-hmm.
A do-over. Oh, that's a mistake. My bad.
Do-over. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I would say also that a lot of my friends most of my friends who I hold near and dear are closer to me than family. Definitely. So I consider them to be family. Like I call my close friends my brothers and my sisters because that's what they are to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Me too, man.
Yeah, usually when I say somebody is my friend, they're
associate.
That's like the lowest level.
Mm-hmm.
But if I call you some type of relation, we good.
Yeah.
You got anything? You had said everything you said last week. You have nothing else to say about this.
Yeah, I ain't got nothing. But I do appreciate Elijah's like that. That's a very good point because that didn't even cross my mind that the word apologizing there is kind of giving it the feeling that God had made a mistake, and I actually don't. I don't like that.
Well, in our scriptures, it does say that we force him to repent.
Force who to repent?
The Heavenly Father. We force him to repent.
Oh yeah, we ain't got nothing like that.
He was we were so disobedient. He was like, goodness gracious. So, yeah. Like, why did I create y'all?
Who made y'all? That was me.
Did it?
Okay. I have discovered in life that there are ways of getting almost anywhere you want to go if you really want to go. Langston Hughes.
Ooh.
I believe that. I really do. The phrase, yeah, like the phrase or the question rather, like how bad do you want it? Like that's what this symbolizes to me. Like how much do you want what you want, or how much do you want to get to what you want to get to? Yeah.
Sean said, if we're all children of God, maybe he just introducing you to family you needed to know.
Ooh.
Bars.
What is it?
That was actually pretty dope, Sean. What's up, Rock?
What's up, Rock, man?
What's up, Rock?
What's up, Lenore?
What's up, Lenore?
Pores?
Okay. So what y'all got on that?
Well, this speaks to me truly in what I do every day as I'm talking to the kids that I work with. I work in a dropout prevention credit recovery high school. So we have like those throwaway kids and those kids that nobody cares about, the kids that are easy to turn your back on. And so I have to tell them all the time that if you really want it, there's nothing out there stopping you from getting it, whatever that is. Now, I would like it to be their high school diploma and good jobs, but they have, taught me the ways of the streets and shown me that if they want it and it's in the streets, they're going to get it too. Yep. So we just try to steer them toward the positive side, but that's really true. If you want it and you really, really want it, you'll go get it.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that you could look at it many different ways, but it accounts for all ways. If it's location, if it's learning, if it's something that you want to attain, there's always a way to get it. You just got to grind it out.
Yeah.
I guess for me, the thing that resonated with me more than anything is that sometimes we may think that we're obsessed with what we think we want versus what we truly want. And so sometimes when we're feeling like we're at a stagnant place in life, it's really because we're not 100% confident in what it is that we want. Right. So like, do we want fame? Do we want popularity? Do we want wealth? Do we want riches? Or do we really just want to make an impact?
Yeah.
Though some of those things are very similar or can work in tandem, sometimes the focus on it is what's totally different. And that sometimes can stop us from getting to where we need to go. Like, I think we talked about this last year. One of the things that I discovered in my journey is that I used to be so ashamed of my gifts, not because I didn't think I was talented. I didn't like for other people to feel insecure around me. So I wouldn't say I had gifts. I would usually take a lower level position. Like whenever I ran for office, I would run for vice president or like secretary. I would never run for lead roles, even when I was acting and things like that. And so I didn't realize that those habits actually spilled over into adulthood, and I would never pursue my full capacity of my gifts or my potential, because in my mind subconsciously I've always said make room for other people, when a lot of times I could have been walking in rooms that were only made for me. And because I didn't understand that, I was doing a higher level of self-sabotage that was going under the radar because it still was some level of marginal success. So, and I think about that a lot. Like I'm not where I could have been because I wasn't focused on what I truly wanted. I was focused more on making other people feel welcome at a table that they weren't invited to.
Word. Dope.
Oh,
Langston Hughes, he's one of my favorite writers, like of all time. His work's so inspirational. But can I ask a question about that? Why do you think he included the word almost in there?
Well, if
can I answer?
Oh, go
for everybody.
To me, that says that there are, no matter how much you want it, there are some places where you simply cannot go. Whether that be a place that is going to be, to your betterment, or you think to your betterment, or to your detriment. Maybe you don't need to be in those places, even if you really think you want to be in those places.
That was my thought too. Just not an eloquent.
She really is the better half. I like that. That was good.
Well, and the other thing is, if you think about Langston Hughes, he's one of my favorite writers too, bro.
You think about fight for him? What you want to do?
Let him have it, E or J.
I will never fight E. I won't fight you either, Mr. Tricep. But I think that Langston Hughes also always spoke about the present time too. And even with what he was wrestling with, and he knew that there are certain places that he would never be able to be, period. No matter how bad you wanted it, no matter how qualified you were for it, he even knew that there's always going to be, and you know what, me and I kind of talk about this a lot. There are social constructs that we contend with. And sometimes, whether we agree with them or not, they can still hinder us from being 100% us, regardless of that. And it's funny because sometimes people talk about, we talk about social constructs as it relates to manhood. People can say, well, my wife don't believe that. Your wife may not believe that. The husband may not believe that, but you best believe when they leave that door, they're still going to wrestle with it. You see what I'm saying? So like, Jay can be a stay-at-home dad. But guess what? Nikki can be cool with it. Jay can be cool with it. But guess what? Society's still going to say, you got that man at home not working? And she got to defend that, even though she may not agree with it. She still has to defend it. And that social construct still wears on you because you still got to fight it. And I think that we sometimes act like, you got to just have a positive mental attitude. Yeah, but there's a certain time that we have to realize that we're contending with things that drain the hell out of us.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with whether we agree with it or not. It's just sometimes things are what they are.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's so funny that you said that, because when I finished, when I was going through school, Jay worked full time, I worked part time. When I finished school, we did a role reversal. So he supported me all through school. I graduated. I'm like, okay, it's time for you to, take a break, have a seat. His job downsized and they got rid of his whole department. And so just like you said, I had to defend the fact that he was a stay-at-home dad to a lot of people. And I would say stuff like, hey, I don't drive, I get driven. I don't have to drive anymore because he drove. He took the kids everywhere they needed to go. That soccer mom stuff was over for me. I didn't cook unless I felt like it. I didn't do laundry unless I felt like it. I'm like, this is the life. You should get one of these. But to people who didn't understand it, it was like, you just let him sit at home. Absolutely. He let me sit at home. He let me, do what I wanted to do. My grandparents were the only ones that we were around, that we talked to, that were okay with it and understood it, because my grandma never worked. So she was like, if that man take a rest and it's working for y'all, then who cares what anybody else has to say? But I was, having to defend the lifestyle that was working for us to everybody else, and it did get tiring. I'm like, just don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like, you mad because I got a house husband? I like it. He like it too.
I love Nikki.
Yeah.
And I love her voice too, so it makes it so much better.
Yeah.
Hold on, let's get to these comments real quick, guys.
Let me say something real quick.
Hold on.
Oh, hey, Iconic, what's up, man?
Man,
Hold on. Deshaun said, since I didn't grow up with a biological family, I was forced to make friends family. If you gain the title family from me, then you are dear to my heart.
And that is actually true.
Sean said that was his one. And Rock said, whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right, Henry Ford.
Mm-hmm.
Chanel said, as long as it doesn't alter your morals, go for it, work for it, and own it.
Yeah.
Ricky said the idea of something is always more appealing than the process. Me.
The beard.
Hey, I like that though, Ricky, man. I like that, bro.
What's up, Rick?
What's up, Rick, man?
What's up, Mama Jackie?
Hey, Mom.
Thank you, Kim.
Hey, Kim.
Okay.
All right. So Elijah, you asked why. He said almost.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to think Langston Hughes believed in God, and to me, when I read almost, I think he put it there because you could try as hard as you want to get somewhere, but if God does not want you to go there, you will not go there. He is the one that allows those things to happen. So yeah, you could almost go anywhere you want if God wills it to. That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, that's a good
I would like to add to that statement. A lot of people like to make a lot of excuses about why they aren't where they want to be, but I would recommend asking yourself, are you sure you really, really want that? Because that a lot of times it's easy to make excuses for things that you don't really want to do. You know, you don't make excuses of why you can't do things that you really want to do. You just find another way.
Right.
I guess we got to be clear too of clarifying between really wanting something and feeling like you're worthy of something. Because sometimes, Jay included, if you don't feel like you're worthy of something, you may let it pass you by, even though you may really want it. And so I'm even still struggling with certain things that I know that I truly want and stepping out doing it. Asking for money with a nonprofit is one of the main ones that is so uncomfortable for me. But if I really want to take Love is a Parable to the next level, I'm going to have to get comfortable with asking for money and not looking at it as a handout, because I have poor issues. Like, I was homeless before, so I know what it feels like to be poor and all of that stuff. So having that in the back of my mind, I have to fight with that and say, no, we're doing something that is really great and people should want to invest in it. That's the whole purpose of having a nonprofit. It's not making an excuse. It's truly sometimes a blockage that we have in life,
Yeah, no, I agree. I want to point out too that Iconic, when he threw the pen at the screen, that's the first time I've ever seen somebody do that. He literally got mad. He's like, I don't want to wait my turn.
It's my turn.
I'm disappointed in you. Not
the greatest Americans have not been born yet. They are waiting patiently for the past to die. Saul Williams. Oh man.
Now this is my favorite poet of all time, though. But I want to know what y'all think on it, though.
I'd like to point something out real quick. Why Americans?
So that's what he's talking about.
Yeah, but like the greatest people in the world aren't American.
But that's
who
all he's talking
cares?
about.
But he said
So
the
who
greatest
cares,
Americans. He didn't say.
Oh, I'm an American, so I care.
I don't care. Yeah, here.
That's because You an American, just because, listen, 4 years.
Naturalized.
I would say for me, Saul Williams is American, and I think, he's always fighting the grain of America supposedly being the best of the best. So I think what he's probably trying to say here is that America's really not that great as we think it is.
Right.
And till we evolve, we haven't seen the greatest America. Because, I mean, there's probably one time that people thought that many of the forefathers were the greatest. Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, Mark Twain. There's probably an era where people thought those were the greatest Americans of all time. So, and we know.
I don't think that era ended, brother.
Yeah.
I don't think that era is gone yet.
Oh, no, it's not. It's not, because the people still hold them to such high regard that their teachings are still being taught.
Right.
So we're still developing people with that same mind state.
Right.
So I think that's where for me, that's where he probably was going, is that we're holding the wrong people up high. Mm-hmm. And to say, hey, the greatest hasn't even come yet. And until we, as a collective, evolve our thinking, we're not going to see the greatest.
That's my cousin.
Yeah, no, for real. That's really exactly right. I think, out of all, we think of all the innovations that have happened, in this country, people that have created things, Wi-Fi, the cell phone, which Wi-Fi was actually invented by a Black woman. So, we think there's all these things that got created, despite the division that exists because of the history of this country. And I feel what Saul's saying, because imagine the strides that we can take as not just a country, but as a species, if that ugliness and that division wasn't there. I mean, we literally could do things that they write about in science fiction novels, in my opinion. But we have this division that really stifles some people. You have people that live and die in poverty without resources. Imagine if everyone, or even the majority of people had the resources to really aspire to what they could be, and how far it will push us up as a whole as a race, as a species, just imagine that. So I definitely get what he's saying. I do.
Ricky says, sorry, Saul, I'm here. Harold says it takes resources and opportunities to do anything that you want to do.
Yeah. What's up, Harold, man?
What's going on, brother? Chanel said America really isn't that great.
Yeah.
It's based on so much lies. They are fighting to hide it from being taught, and they don't even teach it right to begin with.
Yeah.
Mama said so true. She was agreeing with you, Jay. Teens have a voice too. They want the past to die because all the lies that's been told.
Yeah.
The more modern we got, the sunnier people got. Can't open that link, Jay.
Not at the moment, Harold.
It's perfect for this segment. Gotcha. Really not that great. Sorry. Well, you know what? I think that the bigger thing is we spend too much time, and I learned this even through counseling and mediation and through life coaching. We spend too much time trying to correct the past anyway. Mm-hmm. That we can never really move ahead because we're trying to right what has already happened. Mm-hmm. Whether it's a lie, whether it's bad, whether it's good. It's like we spend so much time on that. We waste our life in the things that we can do moving forward. So I think that this is a more of an ode to getting rid of the past, period, not necessarily talking about the lies, but saying stop living in the past. Mm-hmm. Yes, it's foundational. Yes, we can learn from it, but you literally have people. There are some people that call themselves so deep, and all they're doing is talking about the past, and they're literally are not making any progression because they're so frustrated, so angry with the past. So the greatest American has not been born yet doesn't necessarily mean a physical born either. Because you got to think about how Saul is talking. Mm-hmm. Yep. The one who truly is endowed in understanding how the past relates to our present and builds a better future is the greater American. Right. But the one who constantly just living in the past is doing us no justice. The one who is constantly getting upset about the past is really not helping us. But that one who can truly build and bring people together and truly make this world great is the greater American. And we have to speak in retrospect, because for some strange reason, people feel just because I am a Black American, if I speak on the injustices that Blacks face, that make me less American. Mm-hmm. I'm still American, and I can still talk about Black injustices. I can still talk about being a Southerner. I can even talk about being Hebrew. I can talk about all of those things, but that doesn't make me less American, less Black, or less Southern. Yep. Several things can be true at one time, and we seem to struggle with that. And that's what the past does for us. It keeps us hostage to a time.
I love that, bro. Yep, I agree.
Check the messenger, Jay, and play the segment and let. No, we're gonna wait till you get your you on this show. I love Harold. No, when you because he was supposed to be on here talking about no, he on his own. Yep. No, we gonna pencil you in and you gonna play your own segments. Right, Jay? It doesn't say fix the past, let it die. Ideas, behaviors, talking points, the people are here, but haven't awakened under the muck. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good.
Jay, our progression was taken. Yep, that's how I felt too. When they took Aunt Jemima, man, I understand. If we focus too much on the past, you miss the present, waste the future. At the same time, we have to figure out how to heal wounds of the past first. This in regards to you can't
still trying.
I was gonna say, yeah, man.
He's still trying.
Hey, Harold, when you come on, bro, just save that.
He's talking about it for this topic, though.
Yo, I wanna add something to what Sean said. As far as like we have to figure out how to heal the wounds. I don't think we have to heal the wounds. I think we just need to cut the past. That's how you're gonna heal it. The problem that I see, and I came here as an immigrant, right? So my mentality, like growing up here, was always like an outsider point of view. Even until now, I have somewhat of an outsider point of view of this country, and it's like people don't want to stop living, not even living in the past. It's like the mentalities, the mindsets, they haven't changed. So the only way that you're gonna move on and quote unquote heal the wounds is by just cutting it. There's nothing that you can learn from the past. Oh, there's nothing that you can learn from the past that we haven't already learned. There's nothing. What else we gonna learn from it? We know what was done wrong in this country. We know there's nothing else. It's time to just cut it and keep it moving. The people that are stuck holding on to these ideals, the mindsets, all that kind of stuff, those are the people that need to just they need to go somewhere else. Take it somewhere else.
I think to your point too, though, being an immigrant is just how, like, I know for a fact how Black men feel. Like, we feel foreign to this land, even though we're native born.
Right.
And it's always feeling like we're outside looking in. And as long as, even when you're the majority, you're not the majority in consideration.
Right.
So, like, even though we're growing, I think that that's just something that a lot of people who are not adjacent to a certain race all feel. And it doesn't go anywhere. And we always feel like, why is it I'm outside looking in? Why is it that even though we say that there's a progression, but why does the progression always exclude me?
Yeah.
Even when I'm there helping and trying to make it a part of it, it's like, why am I not part of that? And I think we all have that, where we're looking through the peephole type feel. We can't agree how to fix or heal it. Definitely have to heal forward. Eric said you can cut the past. 1 second, I got you, bro. Sean said, right on, brother. Cutting could be healing it.
Cauterize. Yeah.
And Harold said the same thing in the past is happening now in the present. Will continue in the future if we don't talk about it, see how we can resolve it and fix the issues. What you about to say, Jay?
I would say I would agree mostly what Iconic said. You do have to cut it. I think that the problem is that instead of cutting it, this country is moving towards changing the past, or the stuff that they don't want to change. Why is it always same? Like, how many slave movies do we have to have?
Mm-hmm.
And since so many people have been saying that for the last 5, 6, 7 years, now instead of giving us slave movies, they've decided to change history. Mm-hmm. Mark Twain is no longer going to have the N-word in the book. Mm-hmm. They're talking about in schools not saying that there was slavery, say that they were indentured servants. Mm-hmm. And I don't think anybody volunteered to come. So I agree that yes, you could cut it off, and I think that would be best. So I agree with Iconic on that. I think that, but we have to make sure that it is a cutoff and not a changing of the past.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the cutoff is you know what? I agree, because I think the cutoff lies in honesty. Mm-hmm. And when you have honesty, it does something a little different. What do I mean by that is you have people currently who will defend slavery because they said, yeah, my granddaddy had slaves, but he didn't have that many. But that was the times that we were in. See, that's the part that you got to cut off. Mm-hmm. Just if you feel that, if you know that slavery is wrong, slavery is wrong. Mm-hmm.
That's it. Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. And if your granddaddy did it, just because he your granddaddy and he made the best apple pie, your granddaddy still was a racist and he still had slaves and he still was wrong for doing it, even when it was in that time, because there were people of that time that did not have slaves. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it was a choice for granddaddy to have slaves. It was. Mm-hmm. Just like it's a choice now when people are learning history and they know that they're sitting on stolen land, mm-hmm. and they're not giving all the people the land back, and you know it, and you have it in the history book. Stop defending it, saying, well, we're making it right. No, you're not making it right, because guess what? There are still black people that are still 400, almost 600 years behind the start line. Mm-hmm. And we're not making those things right. So it's going to take a lot of honesty. So yes, we can talk about it, but I'm past talking about the situation if we're not going to put in viable steps to correct and leverage the things of the future in the present.
That's correct. Yeah.
There is a reason why my insurance is still high as a black man. And don't tell me because it's based off of hypertension and diabetes. Because you know what the problem is with hypertension and diabetes? If I was in my native land, hypertension and diabetes wouldn't be a problem. Why? Because diabetes were designed to help people live through famine. But because we're living in a place where we don't have famine, guess what? It seems like it's a bad thing. And because you don't teach the true history of what black people go through, and they were taken from their native land, they're in a place where it's built literally against them. Mm-hmm. Just like sickle cell is good to fight against malaria.
Yep.
When we are in our places where we were supposed to be in our natural habitat, we thrive. Mm-hmm. But because we're now not in those places, don't sit there and lie to me and tell me this is why. No, the reason why things are high is because the color of my skin, and that's it. Mm-hmm. Because there are a lot of sick white adjacent people who still have lower insurance than I do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and they have pre-existing diseases.
Mm-hmm. All of them.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Elijah was about to say something.
No, I was gonna say any form of life that you remove from its natural environment is gonna show an adverse reaction to it.
Yeah.
And it's no mystery that we are far from our natural habitat. So obviously we're gonna be fighting for a long time. But me personally, the phrase, I just don't agree with the phrase. I mean, I don't think there's a timing on when great people are born, unless he means the greatest generation of Americans. But if you're looking at individually, we've had so many great people in the past, it would almost dismiss all of them and say that the greatest is still yet to come. When there's been so many people who's done so much that will not be topped here in America, you know? So that's just how I feel about that.
You can't disagree with Saul Williams on the show at all, Elijah. I'm sorry.
So you know what? I totally agree with him.
Thank you.
I mean, but to that point,
now that that's corrected. What are you about to disagree with him?
No, I was going to say
get off the show.
But no, to E's point, I would say to that, man, not even really as a counter, but just something to add on to that, or put parallel to it rather. I mean, don't people say all the time they want their kids or next generation to be better than them? Mm-hmm. So in a sense, they can be the greatest Americans, because if the next generation is supposed to be better because they're learning from us and we have them really on our shoulders like we're supposed to, they can technically be the greatest, the Americans, especially at that time, because if we're pouring into them, they're supposed to, and they're better than us, then why can't they be the greatest?
Chanel said, Harold, oh, she talking to him, never mind. Okay, they have their own conversation. There's levels to lies, though. So there's always something to be learned from the past. Mm-hmm. Chanel said the critical race theory. Mm-hmm. And she said, I want Ice Cube to follow up because he was on to something. Right. But guess what? Because he went the route he went, everybody dismissed it and wouldn't give him an opportunity to even put anything in place. But anyway, indigent service was completely a different thing. It wasn't slavery. It was terrible, but they still had some rights. Slaves are robbed of everything, not the same thing. Mm-hmm. Oh, and then Nikki having a conversation. I agree with Saul Williams' statement too.
That's right. Jay gonna get at you, bro.
You're not allowed on this show anymore. Let me block him. Block off. World records get broken all the time. Greater is always possible.
Yeah, basis. I agree. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I do somewhat agree with what Elijah said though, because it does seem like it's negating some of the greatest people in history. With that
the greatest people in history. We move on.
Yeah, I mean, I
why'd you put a Kanye West quote on?
Because Kanye is the greatest.
living
now who's the better half?
The quote says, living well eliminates the need for revenge. Kanye West.
That's actually good too.
I mean, something in me says I want to disagree, but at the same time,
disagree with it, man.
Disagree.
I get what he's saying, and I mean, I'm at a crossroads because I can disagree, but I can also agree with that because it makes sense.
I'm actually at that place in my life now where when I really stepped into purpose, I don't respond the way that I used to.
Yeah.
Because when you live in purpose, you start living a better life. And I don't look to get them back. Guess what to get them back? That light. Because light and darkness cannot coexist. Mm-hmm. So I don't have to seek revenge. It's just me shining bright.
Yeah.
If I continue to shine bright, you won't even be in my presence. So what do I have to worry about?
Yeah.
And a lot of people are held captive to the things that they've done to you. Mm-hmm. And by you responding, it gives them justification to continue to mistreat you or validate why they mistreated you. But when you living in your peace and living in your truth, you ain't got to get no revenge. Their own conscience will be their own revenge. It'll do its own work.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love the way that you put it, Jay.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's what Kanye meant.
You just don't like Kanye.
No, I agree. I don't think that that's what he meant. And I would say that living well is the revenge. Without, especially if someone's trying to be malicious towards you, you don't have to be malicious back. If you just live well on your own, like you said, you don't have to worry about those people. That is the revenge. Because if someone's intentionally trying to be malicious towards you, their end goal is to see you suffer. Mm-hmm. But if they see you living well, you don't even have to say anything. That is the revenge.
Yeah.
Because they didn't achieve their objective.
Yeah. I definitely will.
We're saying the same thing.
Yeah, I can definitely.
Can I ask y'all a question on the panel? As the black people on the panel, all of us basically. Do you no, honestly? why you do that?
Hey, you did it, bro.
Let me ask the black people something. You two iconic.
Yeah, iconic black too, man. You black to me, man. You know what I mean?
I told him he Dominican.
I mean, I should have clarified it as descendants of slaves, not just black. You know, because not everyone black is a descendant of slavery. You know what I mean? So what I mean is those of us that are descendants. Yo, Dwayne.
Just ignore him, Elijah. Keep going, bro. I got you.
I'm sorry because I won't hear the questions.
Those of us that yo, I can't get it off, man.
You see that kind of face though? He was like,
I seen his head go down a little bit. That's why I was like, no, all of us.
Okay.
Right. But
I'm
those
listening.
was that are descendants of slaves. Do you feel the need to take revenge for what we've been through, or do you think just living well it will be enough for what happened to us?
Can I ask you a follow-up question? What do you mean by revenge in that circumstance?
I mean, the atrocities that's been done to us, do you think payback is in order, or do you think just living well should suffice?
Payback as in doing the same atrocities back?
Not necessarily the same atrocities back, but taking certain things back, I would say. I don't want to be specific on the type of revenge, but I'm just asking, like, do you feel like just living well is enough to suffice for what was done to us? Or do you think that the people that upheld what happened to us should pay for it? Regardless of how great we live, and we could be living like in paradise, but I still, me personally, feel like somebody should pay for something so great. This is like the worst thing to happen in humanity, slavery, that we have recorded. And no restitution for it, no reparation for it, no nothing. Is it just living well supposed to be eliminate that? Me personally, my internal feeling doesn't eliminate it for me.
So
can I respond real quick? But I'm gonna say this first. I'm saying this from a point of view where I don't have family that I know was enslaved.
Right.
Okay, but I think in terms of revenge, I think we have a responsibility to not necessarily get revenge, but we have a responsibility to ensure that nothing like that ever happens again in the future. I don't necessarily think that revenge is going to be the way to do that if we're talking about an equal one-to-one revenge type deal. But I think we have a different responsibility, and I think that responsibility is a very great responsibility. And I don't think living well is the way to do that. And honestly, it's one of the reasons why me personally, there's a lot of, and I'm not going to name any specific hip hop artists, but I feel like there's a lot of hip hop artists that take the living well as their way of getting through this, right? But they never address, they don't take that responsibility, because when you're an artist, or when you're anybody that has a mic that has influence, I feel like you have a responsibility to do something good with it. So as an artist myself, I feel like I have a responsibility to do whatever I can to whether it be bring awareness to certain things. As a father, I want to make sure that I'm raising my children to never think like those people were thinking back then. You know what I'm saying? Teach them the history, teach them right from wrong. That's the kind of revenge that I would rather do than try to, take back everything. Because we so far gone from that. You know what I'm saying? Like we need to move forward, and we need to change the future. Revenge to me is kind of like I don't know if I can justify revenge from that kind of like a tactful perspective, if that makes sense.
Yeah, can I add on to Icon? I agree with Icon, and I would also say that you can't get revenge on the people that started this whole thing, because those people are long gone. And yes, we still have people that generations under them and those families that have some of those same mentalities. But like Icon said, we have the responsibility and the know-how now to make sure that doesn't happen again. And I agree to also living well doesn't help from that type of situation. I think that artists do have a responsibility to do good. I think that you shouldn't be detrimental. And a lot of artists now are leading youth to their own detriment. I always talk about programming. And we have a choice of the programming that we select now. Some people are addicted to trauma porn. They want all the bad things. They get excited off of bad things. And that's the thing, somebody that's been involved in hip hop for a couple decades now is that when I look back like mid 80s to mid 90s, there was more of balance. Yeah, you had your gangster rap, but you also had, if you had NWA play on the video, you also had Tribe follow that.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like it's one continuous song all day. Same lyrics, same frequency, same tempo, same lyrics. There's no balance in it. And because I think that all messages are important, even bad, because there are people that, you know, that have the mentality to separate entertainment from reality. But I think that for the youth that don't know how to separate that, and they accept it as the true facts.
Yeah.
And that can be misleading.
Yeah. So I'll say to your question, Eve, a couple things. So the late great Nipsey Hussle said two of many things that he said that have always stuck with me are, one, we have to change the way that we respond to things. As we get older and we grow, we have to change the way that we respond to certain things, disrespect, all kinds of stuff. He also said that, which I think that is for another form of what Kanye said, that success is the greatest form of revenge. And so I think that as Black people, it literally, some other ethnic groups, it literally makes their blood boil and their blood pressure rise to see us persevere and succeed and thrive as a people, despite all the things we've been through as Black people. And I do think that revenge, once you start that cycle, that's something that doesn't affect just you. It affects the generations behind you. Like Tara said in one of her comments, that's something, I think that if that were something that were to happen, especially in this country, that's something that would affect our children and our children's children. And that's something that we can't see that far down the looking glass. Like that's something that is going to have a ripple effect for decades. And I don't know if it's easy for us to say that because we're at the age we're at now. But would you assign your children and their children to the effects of that, whatever that may be? I think that's a better question because it doesn't affect just you. And because we know how vicious the people that oppressed us, we know how vicious they are, and they play for keeps. I think that we shouldn't necessarily be scared, but that's the kind of games that these people play. And if we want to play those games, know that we're not going to be the only ones that are going to be affected. And so I think that us as a people, Black people, living well doesn't mean just necessarily living well in this country. Living well for us could be us as a whole migrating back to where we came from and living well there. And that right there would have all kinds of effects that we can probably think of, and something we can't on other groups of people, our oppressors or whoever. Those could have all kinds of effects. So I think that living well has so many connotations. I think that, yes, that can be better than revenge, because revenge, the movies, they say revenge just ain't worth it and this and that. I think it's not worth it because it starts a cycle that you can't foresee how deep and how many cycles the cycle runs. That's why.
Can I ask you a question to that though? Sure. Is there ever a time where revenge is necessary?
I can't answer that question because I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, it's a very subjective thing to say that you need to get revenge. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know, bro.
Gotcha.
I think that sometimes we complicate things by doing just this. It's like you can tell how open-minded a person is as soon as they say that they're open-minded, because they've already shaped what they're open-minded to.
Yeah.
And we as people still struggle with receiving information or receiving anything from people that we don't like. Like, there's several things that can be true. Kanye is not well liked. We know that. But is everything that he's saying not true because we don't like them?
Word.
Or is everything that a person that we truly like is true because we like them? Just because a person is intelligent, is everything that they say really smart, or they can say some dumb things? It's like we struggle with understanding that balance and sifting through what those things are. So to answer your question, E, how I look at revenge, is revenge ever appropriate? No, because I think that it's always coming from a self-gratifying place. I don't think that it's coming from a place like, and I want to make sure that we're clear with this. I want to make sure that avenge is different from revenge.
Right.
See, revenge is personal. So I want to get you back. Now, do I think avenge is appropriate at times? Yes, because sometimes you may avenge a person who may not been able to protect themselves in a form of nobility. And I don't have a problem with that. But when revenge is, when you become so focused on revenge, you actually release poison into your body where you become intoxicated. So you're not making clear thoughts. You're not making a clear decision. So revenge, I don't think is ever appropriate. And that's why I do lean more back to this statement of living well, which I did go and look up because what a cuz said, he actually is quoting George Herbert. And living well is when you are at a place where you are balanced. And so when you are balanced and you're focusing on you, like I'm not focused on all the people that hurt me. Do you know, have you ever noticed that when people get upset, they count all the bad things that they've been through? Like, think about it. I'm tired of going through this. I'm tired. I've been through this. I've been through that. And we can go on and on where we can literally make ourselves cry. I'm guilty of that. But how many times have we made ourselves dance and celebrate on all the great things that are happening? When I literally had to do this for the last 2 weeks, I had to focus on all the good that was happening so I wouldn't focus on all the bad, because it's easy to count up the loss. But have you really counted the gain? And I think that what's happening a lot of times is that we don't know how to live well. We know how to exercise, but we don't know how to be healthy. We know how to eat the right things, but we don't know how to be healthy. We know how to do certain things, but we don't know how to be healthy because we're looking at right as win or lose, and that's not it. Sometimes it's not about me doing anything to a person, but being me. And a lot of people don't know how to do that because they want people to come to them and apologize. They want people to really come in there and feel bad. And most importantly, some people just want them to feel the pain that they felt. So even after you apologize to them, you got people coming up talking about that ain't good enough because they really want people to feel that pain. And unfortunately, I will never know what it feels like to be you, E. I can apologize 1,000 times. I can truly be remorseful, but I will never know what that pain feels like for you. And that's what we're trying to feel. And that's a void that only we can feel inside. I do agree with Iconic. Like, yeah, we have to put steps in place where we can assure that those things won't happen. But that's being able to have conversations even with people we don't like and accepting the good and the truth, even from the people we don't like. And I think that that's where we struggle. We still are living in times where people, and this is not even about Kanye, when they don't like a person, they throw away everything that that person is bringing, even if it's some of the good. And I struggle with that. I struggle with people who don't understand that. I struggle with people who don't understand what they're doing. I've had the same conversation about Lil Nas X. You may not agree with him, but nobody wants to agree that the church did that to him. Nobody want to agree and have that conversation. So if we're going to have conversations about what somebody should not be doing, we also need to have a conversation about what has been happening. What is really shaping these responses and these reactions? Because some of us are reactionary, where some of us are learning to be responsive. And that alone is what happens. And people will take your growth as an insult. And so it will be a mental or psychosomatic form of revenge that they feel inflicted on themselves that you had nothing to do with. It was all self-induced. So there are people that'll be out there when you live in your best life are pissed off at you saying, look at E, how dare he be happy after what he did to me? What did he do to you? They can't even think of it. People are looking for reasons to be mad at you. People are looking for reasons to not support you. So what do? You do well anyway. And I think we don't have those conversations enough.
So I'll wrap it up because you guys have been very poignant in your responses. But I'll say this. First of all, the old Kanye is the greatest, and I stand by that, and I will follow on that sword no matter what. Anyway,
As a producer,
and his first album, can't touch it. The rest of them, not so much. The stuff he does now, absolutely not.
That's
But
the one thing I
anyway,
don't think he can do is rap.
I feel like I have
And
to
I
speak
love
on the
Kanye.
revenge thing as the only lady on the panel because we are notorious for being vengeful, revengeful. We got songs about it. Come pick up your feelings. I'm gonna bust the windows out your car. So for me, because I live in a place of protecting my mental health above all things, I don't dwell in revenge. I don't have time for it. I don't have time to let my mind go there because as I'm thinking about all the ways to get you back, I could have been kicking it with my man. I could have been kicking it with my friends. I could have taken my kids out for ice cream. But instead, I'm still, I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to get this person back. That is such a waste of our energy. Mm-hmm. It's such a waste of my time. And all of that, trying to, get revenge against another person. And you, wherever you are, you ain't thinking about me anyway. You ain't thinking about what you did to me and thinking about any revenge that I'm going to, dole out upon you because you did what you did, you said what you said, and you've moved on. So why am I still holding on to it? Like the old adage says, that's like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Yeah. I don't have time for it. So I'm going to live what is living well to me. My version of living well might not be your version of living well. When I'm living my best life, that might not be what it looks like for you. But for me, I'm eating good. I'm driving. I ain't catching a bus. My bills are paid. And to me, that's living my best life. I'm happy in everything that I do. So I don't have time to focus on trying to make somebody else unhappy and hope that it's going to work. Because what if I do all of this to get you back and it don't work and you still ain't feeling no type of way? I don't wasted all this time, energy, and money to get you back for what?
Yeah. It's so good that you say that because when me and E first became friends, we had mutual friends. And somebody used to come up to me and say, E said this about you. I'd be like, I don't know that E. He didn't say that to me. You know what I mean? And they would literally say that, like, how can you be cool with somebody who said that? He said it to you. He ain't said it to me. You know what I mean? And even though it was stuff about me, and it was like when E said what the person said he said, he provided context to it. I was like, oh, that makes sense. And we moved on from it, and we was cool. Like, did we ever beef? We ain't beef about nothing. Because if you allow space, like, I allow E to be E around me. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to be me around anybody. I don't care who you are. I'm going to just be me. Mm-hmm. And so I can't focus on what you got going on because I got too much stuff going on here. And I'm trying to make sure that my light is shining bright. And I think that people miss that sometimes. Like, if you really focus, you can take anything and put it in context, and you can take anything and take it out of context. That goes for your relationships. That goes for even your comments. And I think that sometimes we pass blanket judgment on people, and we don't give people the grace or the latitude to just be people at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. Like, somebody can be mad and they telling you a story. They not yelling at you. They mad about the incident that happened in their life. But you sitting there saying, don't yell at me. Mm-hmm. They not yelling at you. And we don't understand people enough to do that because we lack control of ourselves. So we try to control people. We try to control every situation. Mm-hmm. Oh, I ain't gonna go all the way up here, but
Jake, do you mind, Elijah? I want to hear what your answer is to your question.
It's a little different than what you guys are saying. I think an oppressor or oppressive person would love for people to have the mentality that you guys just displayed, because now they feel like, oh, we can do whatever, and they just gonna worry about focusing on themselves and being happy while we just keep capitalizing off of them. Whereas I feel like I agree with your initial statement, and something has to be done to prevent them from thinking it's okay to do these things. Is that revenge or not?
I guess in a form.
I wouldn't call it revenge. I call that protecting yourself. But
Yeah, but if you purposely going back, it's like it's twofold how he did it. Like if you come to me and think that you're gonna put a noose around my neck and I punch in your face, that's not revenge.
No.
You see what I'm saying?
Self-defense.
If you go and do something to my children and I come for repayment, that ain't revenge either. That's avenge.
That's avenge, right?
You see what I'm saying?
That's avenge, right?
So it's like, but if I'm gonna go back and now take land because laws are in place, I can't really justify that revenge because all it's gonna do is hinder the progression I could have made outside of the system. So the best form of revenge is learning the law that they got in place now and changing it, which has been happening. And I want to highlight this. This is one of the greatest things that has been happening for the Black women demographic because they have been the most progressive demographic for the last 20 years. And they're getting in places to change legislation, to change the way things are being enforced. And that's the only way that you can do it. And so some people will look and say, dog, it took 20 years for them to do that, but they're doing it. You see what I mean? So that's the better way. Now, they could have done a lot of the things like other people did. We could have did the protests. We could have did the marching, which I do think all is appropriate in its own place. But we do need people that are already at the table, not demanding a seat at the table. And that is what I do see happening. And I think that that is the best form of avenge, not necessarily revenge, but we can look at it kind of the same. You know what I mean?
Word up.
We went over because
this quote makes me a little bit wary too when we're talking about like from an artist perspective, right? Because it's an artist saying this, okay? So a lot of artists have this mentality where they're like, man, forget revenge. I'm just gonna make this money. The problem is you making money for the same people they enslaving you, they enslaving this.
But guess what?
Slavery ain't stopped in hip hop. They still enslaving. You might be quote unquote living well and making all this money, but you're just a slave to whatever that paycheck, whoever signed that paycheck tells you to do.
And so Kanye said that, and people told him he was crazy, bro.
No, what you are?
Kanye said that exact thing.
That's whipping the other slaves.
Right. Right.
Like new slaves. That's what he calls it.
No, Kanye said that when Kanye was on, and I'm gonna tell you, they said he was going crazy. He was on the Sway show, and he said, "I am not successful." And he was like, "What are you talking about? You on the verge of being this, and that." He said, "Until I'm the one making the decisions, I am not successful."
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you what happens, and we can talk about it because I don't care no more. It happens mostly to Black artists. Whenever Black artists begin to speak truth, they're labeled crazy.
Yep.
They're labeled crazy, and then they're blackballed, and then all of a sudden it becomes popular opinion that they're crazy.
And they might get killed or they might die.
Well, or their plane might magically fall out the sky or something, you know?
But if you think about it, you know, in terms of that, we really are, everybody on this planet is a slave to something. I got to get up tomorrow morning and I got to be at work at 8 o'clock. Those kids are coming in the door at 8:15 and my principal don't want to hear nothing else.
Yeah, but that's not the same as slavery.
But it is because I'm a slave to my job.
Ain't nobody out there beating.
But you got a choice not to go to that job, though.
But you're also doing something positive.
Right. And I mean, I do love what I do. I'm just saying. But
I'm talking about artists. I'm talking about artists like Brother Jay was talking about, the artists that go out there and talk about the drugs and talk about the hoes and excuse my language, and talk about all of these other things that are mentally keeping us down here.
Absolutely.
Because that's who's the person writing the check is saying, this is what I need you to make an album. The whole album got to be about drugs and clubbing. Why do they want the album? There's that conspiracy about why NWA got so aggressive. Why did NWA suddenly start talking about F the police and getting all gangster? Why did they tell them to do that? They told them to do that because, and I don't know if this is 100% true, they told them to do that because the people that are running the jails, that own the jails, wanted to fill up their jails and make some money. What better way to do it than incite the entire African-American Black population and get them to be violent and put them all in jail?
And also to that, to what Jay was saying about being crazy. and being successful and crazy. We've all seen and heard about Dave Chappelle. When he was supposedly crazy, let me tell you, I've never seen a more humble, cool person. He lives in our area, and he used to come to our shows, or we would go to other shows and see him. I ain't never seen a more beautiful, crazy person. Because he definitely kept his cool, and you could tell, with all the controversy with his new special and stuff like that, you could tell that he's had time to really think about all these different situations. And like I said, seeing him often, you could tell that he was just tired of being the person that was delivering what he thought wasn't the best message to be delivering. And he had to break free from that. And I think that's what's needed now. I need one of these artists that are giving bad programming to wake up and say, oh, okay, it's time for me to stop.
But if I stop, then my money stops, and I need this money.
Maybe not.
You ain't never been poor like I've been poor. You don't know what it's like.
But this is where I had this problem with this from. People talk about like these people twerking and doing all of this stuff. It's been going on. Right. No generation that grew up with Millie Jackson better say nothing about provocative. Because nobody is rawer than Millie Jackson on this planet. And
That's
we grew
true,
up
but
in
Millie
an era
Jackson wasn't on the radio. Millie Jackson was at the Millie Jackson was at the American Legion and at the Juke Joints and family picnics.
No, sir, you talking to somebody who's from Georgia who know Millie Jackson was very much on the radio, and she still sells out stuff when she do something.
Oh, definitely. But she was never on the radio here. I could say that.
How about this?
But she was at the American Legion.
Donna Summers, Love to Love You, Baby, was almost 10 minutes of sexual innuendo, and it was very popular. I mean, the list goes on and on. I'm just tired of people acting like this is something new. Sexuality has always been part of it. It's present.
But the difference is that there was a balance back then. There's no balance now.
No. It's the same balance. We just became what our parents are, because the parents said the same thing.
They sure did.
And you guys made excuses for those rappers who did the same thing. One of the biggest ones.
I have to disagree, fam, because
you can disagree all day long, but it don't change the fact that people still know Jay-Z, how he came out. He got his dirty money, but all of a sudden people looking at him as good because he's a billionaire. Y'all made excuses for him, make excuses for the other one.
Let me ask you a question.
I'm not through.
How often did you hear 444 on the radio?
I'm not. Hold on, I got it. I'm not through with the because we sit here and we talk about we believe in women being free, and we want women to have certain liberations. But as soon as a woman take charge of her own body, you want to pass judgment? Well, you don't believe in that. Just stop saying you do. It is a woman's prerogative to do whatever she wants to do with her body. Madonna did the same thing, and then all of a sudden she became English, and people forgave her. I mean, the list goes on and on.
The thing is, I'm not disagreeing with you saying about women and women having their rights to be free.
No, I'm talking about what is different now that didn't happen. I can show you a reference that happened.
This is the part that I disagree with. It's the balance.
What is the balance?
Here's the balance. What's the nasty chicks out? Meg the man horse.
The stallion.
What's the other one? I don't know. Cardi B. You hear them on the radio, but how often do you hear them in the radio comparison to Rhapsody, Star, Rock? Balance. There's no balance. You never hear Star, you never hear Rock, you never hear Rhapsody on the radio.
Bro.
You live in North Carolina. How often do you hear Rhapsody on the radio?
Is that the case? Never. How much trash New York music, not to you, Elijah, but I'm just saying, how much trash hip-hop artists get credit from New York, and they don't do the South the same way. And it is lyricists that will murder that junk that they be doing up in New York.
That's my point, cuz Rhapsody is from down there with y'all.
No, that's my point too, though. But you talking about balance. It ain't never been, in that case, it ain't never been balanced, bro.
Yes.
No, there was a balance in terms of content on the radio. There was a
Yes.
balance in terms of
When?
they used to play people like Nas on the radio. They used to play people like Common on the radio. They used to
De
play
La
people like Tribe
Soul,
Called Quest on the
Tribe.
radio.
Careless
Now
One.
When they
the
were
radio,
popular.
No,
Huh?
I remember when I was 12
That's
and
when
I
they were
thought
popular.
I was a
yo,
big
but
deal.
there's
'Cause
artists.
I rapped the whole song of self-destruction to my baseball team and thought that I was that deal. If a kid try to do that now, they're gonna get beat up because them songs don't exist now.
And to
But I don't
Jay's
understand
point,
your
and to
point.
Jay's point, like when you have artists like Rhapsody, when you have artists like Lupe Fiasco, even J. Cole, hit majority of his music don't make it to the radio anymore because the radio is now full of Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, Lil Nas X, everybody that they want to push in front of you because they own who gets pushed. The difference now is that we actually do now have a choice in streaming who we listen to. But the problem is, even in streaming services, if you go pull up Apple or Spotify, the first 100 things that are going to be listed are the top that they chose to be the top. So all of the good conscious, the stuff that could balance out this other stuff, which we used to have a balance of back then, no longer exists unless you really dig in deep.
I think that's a cop out, and I think that's a cop out. You're talking to somebody who's 42 years old who lived through all of these generations, and that's cop out because the same thing was said. My grandma said the same thing to my mama about the music she was listening to. My mama said the same thing about talking about back then we had balance. We didn't do this. I don't know why y'all this way. And I'm like, have you heard that? And then even my grandma music, yummy, yummy, yummy. I got love in my tummy. That's talking about somebody. But you guys, we act like this stuff is new. It's not. And if you really want balance, we got to be intentional. We just had a conversation about that. When I go to my YouTube music, because I don't do Apple, I love my Samsung. I don't care what y'all say. But when I go to my YouTube music,
I'm Samsung all the way too.
I go look for iconic music. I don't care what they have on there. So that ain't no excuse. And I think that sometimes people make excuses, and there's never been a balance.
No,
it's not an excuse.
They said the same thing about Madonna when she came out.
Bro,
they
it's
said
not
she
an
was
excuse.
too much, and it was no balance. They said she's all over the radio.
No, hold on. I gotta stop you right there because I was an old school Madonna fan. Not when Madonna came out. They said that when she switched. When she came out, most people thought she was an R&B singer. Borderline. What was the other joint? Holiday. That was before Like a Virgin and all that stuff. Somebody told her she had to switch it up to be a global star. But I'm not disagreeing with you saying about it's okay for women to do their thing. My only thing is that there's not a balance in mainstream. Yes, we have the choice to stream who we want to, but I'm talking about if you turn on your video, if you turn on the radio, you're not going to hear that balance. And us as adults, no, not the radio. I'm talking about the radio, public radio. On your phone, you're streaming your internet, you get to make that choice. But the problem is, like Iconic said, say somebody that's just getting into music and they log on to YouTube or they log on to Apple. They don't even know how to find the balance because all they're going to get is top 50, top 100 suggestions. Now, in my day, I'm an old dude. I'm almost 50. I would go to the record store and buy stuff if the art was dope. And then you had to discover what was on it. You had to discover what type of stuff it was. And also, I had a parent that could say, hey, this is what it is. Now we have parents in a generation that we are in now that they want to see their daughters look wild. They want to see their daughters made up. And a lot of cases that I talk about all the time is you see women that may not be the best attractive, but they come out with a cute kid, so they try to live through their children.
I just feel like we passing. I feel like this is my whole point. I feel like we pass in judgment, and the same thing happens every generation. And we just had a statement about why we can't heal from our past, because these are the type of comments that are often made, and they're not true. They're very relative and they're very subjective, and it's not true. There have been evidence where, first of all, media has never been balanced.
Ever.
Never. We had this whole argument even in television. Some of the greatest shows didn't get what they needed to get because they weren't balanced. Some of the greatest artists never got their thing. Regina King just got a star on Hollywood. And she was Brenda from 227. There has never been a balance. Halle Berry got her Oscar for sleeping with Billy Ray Thornton. There's never been balance. Denzel Washington got his Oscar for doing Training Day when he was playing a stereotypical role of a black man at that time.
Yeah, I don't disagree with those.
But what I'm saying is there is no balance, bro. And what happens is we just get old and we become our parents and we say the same thing.
I disagree. I still disagree.
Okay.
Because I'm talking specifically about hip hop.
I'm talking about hip hop too.
Hip hop back in the day, mainstream hip hop had a balance.
No, it didn't.
Now,
No, it didn't.
mainstream, yes, it did. You can't say that Nas and Common and Tribe Called Quest were not a balance in hip hop in their day.
You know what kind of music? Nas is one of his alter egos is Escobar, a famous drug dealer. No,
yeah, but no balance, even within himself, he had balance, bro. They still played one mic on the radio.
Right, but what I'm saying is, like Jay said, the radio has never been balanced. It's always what's popular, and that's a lot of times driven by the youth. It's never about, oh, we played this ratchet stuff, we got to play this uplifting stuff. It's never been that way. So I think that you guys are being really disingenuous when you bring that up, because that's never been true.
I don't think
the same thing. No, okay, I can tell you this, and you all can say whatever you want to say about this. 2 Live Crew was on the radio everywhere for the longest.
For real.
No.
They weren't here.
What?
No.
You know what? I'm done. I'm done. I don't even think you're an artist at this point. If
they
you're going to
made
say
a song about them not being able to be on the radio.
That's my point. They were on the radio. They were doing everything, and then all of a sudden they were banned.
No, they never made it to the radio. That was the point of the song.
You're saying Uncle Luke never, the person who's responsible.
You saying 2 Live Crew never made it to the radio?
The person who's responsible.
No,
for
they were popular. They made millions of dollars, but they were never.
They were in the club.
They were in the club.
Radios were y'all listening to? No, you can't tell. I know this.
Clubs play the music that's on the radio.
Maybe
no, DJs control.
That's what I was going to say. Maybe it's the
maybe y'all had one radio station in Ohio because they was on the radio. No, that was the point. They were becoming more and more provocative, and then they were banned.
Right.
No, 2 Live Crew never came on the radio here. We had the records, but we never heard them on the radio.
You know what? So you have been discriminated against in Ohio.
Yeah, say that.
I'm sorry.
Say it wasn't on the radio here, because to say that 2 Live Crew wasn't on the radio, sir. Yeah, I'll be like, what kind of artists are you?
Well, that's what I said. Maybe it's demographic. We're talking 2 Live Crew. That's the 80s. That's when local radios had control over what they would and would not play. You didn't have, like, our radio stations aren't owned locally anymore. We're Radio One or whatever it may be now.
Okay.
But in the 80s and the 90s, we had 1.5 black stations, and they were independently owned.
Right.
The DJs controlled the music. The DJs controlled the music that got played. Now, even if I went to the radio station, I cannot get them to play my music unless it has been they have a list that they have to go by.
Payola, yeah.
No, it's got to be certified. You got to have so many spins on this. You got to have so many hits on that. And if you don't, because you're not talking about the things that these other people are talking about, you're not going to get that 5 million hits a day. You're just not.
I would like to say,
all of it. Go ahead, bro.
Kanye West quote should be banned from Love is a Parable going forward.
I actually am a personal. I actually like Kanye West. I like Kanye West back then, and I like him now, and I don't have a problem with saying that. Mm-hmm. And I also am a music lover, and I also understand that everything happened in a wave. There was a time when it was nothing but 2 Live Crew on the radio. Right. That's how Uncle Luke he created a whole genre of hip hop. Exactly. And then you had a Houston-based whole wave in hip hop where it was nothing but them on there. Then you had a Louisiana wave of hip hop and it was nothing but them on there. It has never been balanced. That's why when the South came up, it was like, finally we got our shine. But guess what? It ain't a balance anymore. So my thing is, it never really happened. And this argument is going to continue to go on because a lot of people never felt like they got the respect that they deserve. It's just like I was talking to somebody when they talk about the top female rap artists. Missy Elliott is never brought in the conversation. Right. And she created a whole genre. There is no other Missy Elliott.
Oh, I agree. But I agree. That's why when people talk about verses, she is the only person that can have a verses with Busta Rhymes. They're only two that can have a verses together.
They basically the same person.
Exactly. They're the only two that can logically have a verses. But I know we got to move on. So I'm going to end this 2 Live Crew thing real quick. The 2 Live Crew wasn't on the radio. You can look this up on YouTube or the internet. We all got the same internet. Uncle Luke knew he couldn't get on the radio. So what did he do? He bought a system to have his own private radio. He went out on the lake and broadcasted his own music. Look it up.
Wait, what?
Bro.
Yeah, pirate radio.
I can't give it.
Pirate radio. Look it up. Uncle Luke and
2 Live Crew was on the radio. 2 Live Crew was on the radio. And if you go back and look, you'll see the albums that they had, which made them popular. This is why they were frustrated with Band in America. They were getting more and more raunchier as they got more successful. He spent
I'm not denying that success. I love 2 Live Crew.
He spent off from 2 Live Crew based on a genre of music that he came. And he is the precursor to Trick Daddy. Mm-hmm. He is the precursor to what's the girl? You don't know now? Trina. Yeah. He's the precursor to all of them.
Yeah.
Agree.
You don't sell millions of albums and not be on the radio. Like, it just doesn't.
Too short. Too short.
Yeah.
Master P.
Exactly.
But all of them have been on the radio.
Master P and No Limit. He was selling them on his trunk
radio
before he got
Young Mouth was on the radio.
You just said Too Short was not on the radio.
Was sold millions of records before he even had a chance to be on the radio.
No. The statement you said Too Short was not on the radio. You were dying
I'm talking
on
about
that
early Too Short and his start was not on the radio.
No, you didn't say the start. You just said he wasn't on the radio.
He did.
Yo, this is the first time I seen Cordell stand up on the show.
Cordell said that.
He's flexing on me.
Because that's an erroneous statement. Too Short he did a verses. You can't do a verse if you don't have his. He was on the radio. He
wasn't in the beginning.
Before he determined by radio.
Right, before he got his actual deal and got on the radio, he was selling records out the trunk of his car for a good 6 years.
Nobody's disputing that.
KRS-One was one of the best verses, and KRS-One was not on the radio until he made Rapture.
Okay,
that was 6-7 albums deep.
The goalpost now. Was he on the radio or not?
Who?
Not in the beginning. That's what he's trying to
Yeah,
say. He said he had to show.
Radio in the beginning.
We're not talking about a time period. We're talking about if they were on the radio or not. Was he on the radio or not?
Well, the reason I say that is because radio didn't determine their success and their popularity. These guys were popular without radio. 2 Live Crew, Too Short, KRS-One. These were artists that were popular without radio.
We're not disputing that. We never disputed that.
No, we're talking about the radio being balanced. All I'm saying is these people were on the radio, and it appears that maybe they weren't. Maybe what happened is that it wasn't exposure where you guys.
Yeah, and I agree. I think somebody put that in the comments that radio was, and during that time, radio was regional.
Right.
But for some strange reason, and I'm from Augusta, Georgia, so I don't know why they would pick, Augusta, Georgia of all places to give a variety of music, but all of these artists we heard on the radio. And so when we're talking about a balance, it did feel like, and it still feel like this day, they pick a certain genre to elevate, and then they drop them. And then they move on to another genre. I just feel like it's just happening right now. It feels like it's the thought era. But guess what? They're going to drop them and move on to somebody else.
Right.
It's making
But
them
do
too
you
much
think
money.
do you think that we've been in the thought era longer than any other era?
I don't feel that way.
No,
I don't feel that way.
We was in gangster rap era for 20 years.
I feel like we was in mumble rap for too long.
Yeah, like people was gangster rappers killing people, selling drugs, and still are doing that. But we was in that era for 20 years plus years. Like we've been in the quote unquote thought era for what? 8, 9? We'll give it even 10 years. That's still not as long as the gangster rap era. So I think that, like I said,
yeah. And when we consider the thought era to really start?
Yeah, like exactly.
What's the start of the thought? So maybe I can. What do you think the start of the thought era?
You know what I'm saying? Because Cameo, did he make the song Candy? Candy was about cocaine, wasn't it?
First of all, that Joker had on
Adina Howard. She was the start of it.
You know, so yeah, I think we picking and choosing stuff.
She was the thought of it.
No, I'm not debating. I was just asking because that's something I've never even thought about. Is have we been in a certain era long enough until you just brought it up? So I'm not debating now.
Yeah, I always feel like for me, I always feel like when people get in discussions about the best hip hop artists, they rarely put Southern hip hop artists in the top, and a lot of them will murder.
Mm-hmm.
Andre 3000.
Just
I
Outkast.
say the same thing.
Just 3 Stacks. That's it. Who else you gonna name from the South?
See, that's my point. That's my point.
You can't leave. First of all, you can't leave Big Boy out of it.
You can't leave CeeLo out of it.
I could definitely leave Big Boy out of it because 3 Stacks is better.
But 3 Stacks himself said Big Boy is a better artist than he is.
Jay Electronica.
Yeah.
Is he from the
3
South?
Stacks. Yeah, he's from Magnolia.
He from where?
Yeah.
Magnolia Projects with Lil Wayne and Juvenile.
I thought he was from Texas.
He's from Louisiana.
Yeah, we'll take him.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll take him, but I think that there
We'll
are a
take
lot
him.
of. But yeah, like
Scarface.
CeeLo is my favorite, and they even said they purposely didn't put 3 Stacks and CeeLo in the same group together because they knew that they would be too much. That's why they split them up. And there's some artists.
I think a problem here with this conversation too is that you guys might be thinking, as average listeners, and me and Icon seem to be like heads. What they call from my era, heads.
Insult.
That's not an insult.
Yeah, coming from a straight
But the
lyricist.
person you guys said is my better half. She's an average music listener. She's not no head.
Wait a whole minute, sir.
She ain't no head. When we first got together, I made her a mixtape. Like, you've been listening to the wrong stuff. Let me hip you to
I did
something.
the same thing with
Now
my
she's
wife.
a better half
bro.
because she make you look good, bro. Come on, man.
I did the same thing with my wife. I turned her into she had never even heard of some of these artists.
Well, I guess that's what we're gonna say. I guess I'm an average listener, but I do know that I'm a lyricist. I'm a lyricist first.
It's just like some people are sneakerheads.
No, I'm a lyricist. Like, I'm a lyricist first. If your lyrics are trash, I don't care how much the beat is. If you just trash, it's trash. Like, we were just talking about Kanye. He was like, he think Kanye is a great rapper. I say that's the one area I think he's horrible in. I think Kanye's delivery is trash.
Mm-hmm.
I think that he has. I think he's a genius, but lyrically, he is garbage.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a lyricist.
He said poop-de poop, poopity poop.
Genius.
Poop.
Genius.
If a rapper does that,
genius.
You done. Stop rapping, bro.
Genius.
Well, no, it's just like I think Common is a great lyricist, but he need to stop rapping. He just need to do poetry. I go to sleep on Common every time. I'm like, he's still rapping?
Yeah.
Common, man.
I mean, and people change up their style too, because before Cameron had computers putin', he was in Children of the Corn tearing stuff up with Mace. So
right.
I mean, you know, we can go on and on about that, but yeah, because I mean, Kanye's first 2 albums from a lyrical standpoint to me were immaculate. But
I will say this: the balance does exist, but it's all underground. It's all underground. You have to go underground.
Technology has come such a far way that you can find someone with the click of a button. Who is really underground at this point? Unless they're comparing themselves to the
underground.
major.
Underground, as in not mainstream.
Oh, that's what I just said. So, but are they underground for the average listener? Because anybody can go find their music.
Yeah, but you have to know to look for them. That's the thing. They're
think
not just gonna show up. If I go on my app and I say conscious rap, you know, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to look. It's still gonna show you the top. It's gonna be like J. Cole, Kendrick, maybe Drake, Lupe.
Yeah, you're right.
That's
They're gonna
old
show you the
cats.
ones that have kind of edged over into mainstream.
I figured it out, y'all.
I think y'all want
I figured it
revenge. Like what? I think
No, I gotta figure it
y'all
out.
want revenge.
Living well.
So we just want balance.
No,
We just
living
want
well
balance.
eliminates
Balance has never
the
been.
want for revenge, not the need for it. The want for revenge. That's what I agree with right there.
All right.
Good point.
And that's
Elijah.
what they
that
want.
actually makes better sense.
They want revenge because you got a hip hop artist who I told was the best that I've ever heard, like personally. He deserves a platform. Like, I agree. I think Iconic should be bigger than what he is. So I get that, and I get where a lot of it come from. But as a person who loves true artists and love like lyricists, I do think that it has never been balanced. And I don't think the true musicians and the true artists ever get their rightful shine. Ever.
Wait, though, you got to ask Iconic, though. You say he should be bigger, but is that where he wants to be? And if that's where he wants to be, then there should be no excuse of why he's not there.
Well, I can't to that part. All I'm saying is, as a person, I'm saying as a person,
except my videos don't have naked women in it, and I'm not rapping about drugs, and I'm not rapping about violence, so I will never have the same kind of platform as a little fill in the blank.
Okay,
not with that attitude. Not with that attitude, young man.
In reference to balance and balance in music and radio, how much do you think algorithm has to do with not having balance now?
A lot, and every time we figure out how to play the algorithm, they change it.
Well, can we be honest? It's a lot of people that don't just support. It's a lot of people who are clout chasers. So when we talk about the balance, a lot of times people want what's in and popping now.
Right.
And so the problem is not the people that you don't know. A lot of times it's the people that you do know who don't corral behind you, but let it be a funeral. They can sell out a show then if it's a funeral. They'll be there for your death, but they won't be there to celebrate you. They are the first ones that corral around you to break you down. So, truth be told, a lot of times what's throwing stuff off is people don't want to support you until you don't need their support no more.
Right.
Because I guarantee you, once you go platinum, it's all these people that talk about, I've been rocking with Iconic since Carry High.
Since Desperados.
Coming out tomorrow. Tomorrow, Desperados goes live.
But I think that this is why
I'll ever get to a mainstream track.
I think this is why y'all show Fly With Us is important and what y'all about to do with the discussion on hip hop. And I think that a lot of people who don't know need to connect with you guys because this going straight into your wheelhouse. And it might be a lot of bruised or unknown artists that need to connect with you guys to create a movement of substantive change or substantive impact. So they need to connect with you guys so we can continue this conversation because you done ran us over a whole hour and almost 45 minutes.
You know what I'm saying?
We apologize.
It was Kanye's fault. It was Kanye's fault.
Oh, and happy Hip Hop History Month to everybody.
It's your birthday show, Jay. Come on, you know your birthday show has to be a little extra.
Yeah, we gotta keep going till midnight.
It's Peanut Butter Lovers Month.
You know that's a thing.
We gotta go till midnight, bro.
I'm
So
not
we can
going to
sing
no
happy
midnight.
birthday.
I'm not going in there.
But anyway,
are we even gonna do Positive Brother Shout? We gonna skip it today?
we got to do Positive Brother shout out though.
Everybody going.
We got to. No, they not. They still tuning in.
I didn't feel no positivity today. At the end of the show, it's like no positivity. What you talking about?
Iconic, I'm gonna come over there and punch you in your face repeatedly. Don't you ever
See
say
what I'm
that.
talking about?
Okay.
Violence.
Nikki and Jay, man, I love having you on the show. You could tell because I ain't in this stuff 13 minutes ago.
Yeah.
But we're about to do what is called Positive Brother Shout Out. This is your opportunity to shout out brothers who normally don't get, the respect and the shine that they deserve and are doing positive things that you want to make sure that they know that you appreciate and love them. Who you got?
You can go first.
I want to shout y'all out first and thank y'all for having us on the show. I'm glad that we were able to make this connection. And me and you, cuz, on 23andme.com. Now meeting the other brothers from Brother Empowerment. It's been really dope. and it's just the beginning. I also want to shout out Jason Jordan, who was in the chat. He's from up here. He has a radio show. So Icon, make sure you get him your music. Jason Jordan, connect with Icon and Bond. He has a local station called WYSO that he works at, and it's independent. They work through the Antioch College. Shout out to Coretta Scott King, who went to Antioch up here. And I just want to shout out any brother that is trying to make change and bring balances. That's been the key word tonight.
It's a trigger word. I'm gonna wake up yelling balance.
Go ahead.
Okay, so first I have to shout out, of course, all of you guys, because we do, tune in every week, and we're both in the chat, Twitter fingering and jumping in. But the healthy debate is always wanted. It's always needed to see Black men to be able to have a conversation that is articulate without a lot of cuss words, and really kicking knowledge from different points of view and accepting those points of view when you don't agree. That is just phenomenal. If I could bottle all of y'all up and bring y'all to work with me tomorrow, I would. But I would be remiss if I didn't shout out the man sitting next to me, because for the last 20 something years, without telling our age, I haven't had to worry. I haven't known struggle. I've never had my lights cut off, my water cut off. I've always been driving. I've always been well fed and well taken care of, even though I make jokes like I'm kind of under the weather right now when he's forcing medicine and tea me, and I feel like I'm being mistreated.
Yeah, she says that's abuse.
It feels abusive.
Balance.
I was coughing at like 2 a.m, and by 2:15, there was like NyQuil being shoved in my face. I felt abused. I was like, I wasn't even up yet. But I have to shout him out through thick and thin, ups and downs. He had a whole paradigm shift and had to re-enter the world of work. Took a job that is paying him far less than what he is worth. Coming home tired every single day, and still has the time to be a great dad and a great husband. And that is incredible. And I still only drive when I feel like it.
Word.
Shout out to the bro, Jay, man.
E, who you got?
Shout out.
I want to shout out my team of brothers, Cordell, Stevie. Stevie's here right now, by the way, you guys.
Stevie G
and Noe. Those three dudes made moving to North Carolina so much easier. Like somebody to lean on, somebody to bounce thoughts on, to build with. That's all we've been talking about doing for a long time. And just to see the growth, because last night hanging out with you guys, it was a great reflection of how much we've grown just in the last 2 years and how much our lives have changed. Also want to give a shout out to you, Dwayne. We still got to talk, man. Stop hiding from me. You hiding from me, bro. You know we got to talk, man. But not most importantly, but I don't want to leave out somebody who I want to shout out. I want to shout out all of those who are false imprisoned right now, having to hold their heads in those cells. It's got to be a nightmare for those people, and I just want those people to know that you guys are being thought about also.
Word. What you got, Iconic?
Given that the song that drops tomorrow is really about standing your ground and being who you are, regardless of who's around you, I want to give a shout out to the brothers that are staying true to themselves, regardless of their environment, regardless of the situation, that they're being true, honest, strong, and continuing forward with the positivity and the positive change in this world that we really need. That's a very hard thing to do in this day and age, to remain strong in that path. So I just want to give a shout out to all the brothers that are staying strong in that path.
That's dope, bro.
Yeah, that's really dope.
I ain't gonna cry. I cried. What was that, last week before last? I ain't crying no more.
Yo, and you also talked about iconic short people. I was like, man,
I don't know why I ain't got no friends that's over 5'5".
You disrespectful. I guess.
Yo, real quick, E, tell Noe I need to holler at him. He's not listening. Go ahead, Cordell.
He interrupted you.
Yeah. Nah, first and foremost, man, I gotta shout out this Jay, the one standing right next to me, man, just because he is the supernova, as I call him. And I know if I can stand next to this dude and not be repelled, then I am light myself, because as he says, light and darkness cannot coexist. So that's one of the things I measure myself. So I can stand next to him and not be repelled or be, my skin won't burn. Hey, I must be doing something right. But we've been doing this thing. I've met so many great people and done so many great things in my life, and I've been doing that since we've been connected, man. So I'm thankful for you, man. Like all the brothers here, the other Jay, iconic. All the brothers that are on the live, Ricky, Stevie, Bruce, our resident fact checker, all y'all brothers, man. Like all y'all brothers are really dope. Man, I can't say enough, man, that you just walked into my life and I didn't know what was gonna, I didn't know how it was gonna be. I was like, oh man, I don't know if we're gonna be close or we're just gonna be cool. And we're like this, man. We had a bump in the road, and it's crazy because I think the bump in the road, while it separated us for a little bit of time, it tightened the bond when we reconnected it, And so, man, you spoke spirituality into my life, and also spoke about Rashia, man. So like literally, I mean, man, we at this point we are family. You know what I'm saying? We gonna butt heads, and we may even, you know what I'm saying, tussle, but like we're a family, man. So, and I want to shout out all the brothers that are just dedicated to being brothers, that dedicate themselves to sharpening other brothers and having those tough conversations and being connected, man, because that takes true strength, and that's what we need, man. We're not going to heal the ills of our community and of men without each other. There's no soul successes in that realm. We all need each other. Nobody can do it alone or in a small group. So I want to shout out to those brothers, man. Thanks.
It was fine. You did 7 minutes. So I'm joking.
Everybody did 7 minutes.
But no, this is probably, guys, this was like the perfect birthday show for me.
Mm-hmm. Happy birthday, Jay. I love you, bro.
Love you too, man. Having my cousins on, having you guys on, and just where we're going, period. I'm like excited. And I do agree with Nikki. Nikki, like, I don't argue with everybody. Mm-hmm. I only argue with people I know I can argue with. Because some people will be like, okay. Yeah. But it feels good to have that. And I have grown so much. People always want to give me credit, but I've grown so much and I've learned so much because of the people that I'm connected to. And most importantly, the fellas. Like, I never was really close to a lot of men. Mm-hmm. And part of it was because I was molested early on. And so I had 4 male friends my whole life that I really was close to. And I never really got down with guys like that. I never really trusted them, and I ain't want them to be thinking nothing, read nothing wrong. But 4 years ago, when I stepped into my purpose, I allowed myself to be vulnerable and open enough to have male friends. And these male friends have been phenomenal. Mm-hmm. Because when I felt like I was losing it all, literally every last brother that's connected to Brother Empowerment put their arms around me and made sure that I didn't fall. I wanted to literally give up, and you guys pushed me. So every last one of you guys, I thank you. Cordell, I didn't know what I was going to do with this organization, and your dumb self followed me. And I just thank you for being dumb and just just trusting the process. And then we were able to get other foolish people to connect to that we ain't know nothing about. Like, like Kerwin and Ian, they stupid too. They just followed us. And then we got Devontae stupid self. And look, we got Iconic, now he dumb. Uncle Marcus, Mo, all these dummies. And then he just signed on today, another dummy. But we're so grateful. I'm so grateful to have you guys. And I think that the world needs you guys.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to do everything in my power to use my platform to blow up Iconic as the dopest MC that I personally know. Mm-hmm. To blow up Ricky as the best fermentation specialist
with his own YouTube channel.
Well, he's really the almanac in the encyclopedia. I go to Ricky for everything.
Yeah, Ricky is literally like
punchline.
Yeah.
Is right, random facts.
Yeah,
he just know random facts that you need in that moment.
Yep.
And E, when I met E when I was just low in my faith, and I needed brothers that were similar in faith, and we connected and we stayed connected. And then like the Webbs, I don't know where y'all came from. 23andMe. 23andMe was a beautiful thing because it did bring me you guys, and I love you guys. Like, I've known you my whole life, and that's for real. And like Nikki, I love your voice, so I'm gonna be having you doing some voiceovers. Like y'all just come over and do. I'm gonna have her say a whole bunch of stuff. You better donate and all of that. But this year, meaning we said back in August that this is the season of letting go and let's go. Yep. So we are releasing weight and we're moving forward. We are truly healing forward, and no one is exempt from this. Mm-hmm. We're releasing all of the dead weight. We're releasing anything that is going to hold us back, and we're truly walking in purpose. And if you're connected to me, I'm going to make sure that you walk in your purpose, or we won't be connected. And so I'm just excited about where we're going. Those who have not, make sure you follow Fly With Us podcast on all social media platforms. Make sure you connect with them. If you love anything hip hop, make sure you connect with them. Elijah, he said, Iconic said, make sure him and Noe connect.
Positive, got it.
But we want to make sure that we continue to help one another, because truth be told, that's why I'm such an advocate for balance, because I understand that there is a void, and the only way that we're going to change it if we do it together. And I could have easily been a solo success, but I just don't want to be at the top by myself. Mm-hmm. I want all of us to be up there, and we're going to eat together, and we're going to do great things. So I'm excited. Brothers, thank you. Thank you so much. And Jay, thank you for allowing Nikki to be your better half.
Word up.
Yeah. So I'm excited. But like we tell everybody every week, thank y'all for staying with us for the long version. I'm not even mad about it. It's my birthday.
I'm not
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Say it with a gift. Ha ha ha. But
inbox us your address so we can send you a gift.
Okay. I like that.
Word up.
If you feel like nobody in this world love you or nobody care about you, you just met 6 people that do, reach out, connect to all of us. We're here for you, and we're going to see you guys next week. Everybody stay on. We'll see y'all guys next week.
Cause as they raising your spirits, you start embracing your fearless. You can't deny that you're clearing all the demons from your heart, wishing it from the start. To any brother that wanna step in and be a part, cause it's easier to do it together than be apart. Hope to be the beacons of light that can shine in the dark.
Come on, let's go.